Hi, I'm Professor Sarah West, part of the Inclusive Citizen Science group at SEI York. Over the past couple of years, I've worked on two projects which have had co-design as a really central element to them. Those were the SAMI project, which was looking at indoor air quality in schools, and Youth Lives, which was working with youth co-researchers to design mental health research projects. These were both really different projects, but co-design was central to both of them. Designing research with citizen scientists helps to make sure that our methods work for the people who will be using them and that they generate data that is relevant to people's lives. And by using co-design, we can actually identify problems and work out how to tackle them as we go along. With SAMI, we started with the idea of wanting to show schools the air quality in their classrooms and get them to take action to improve it. So we worked with groups of pupils and teachers online to understand what they'd want from some sort of platform. They told us that what they wanted was to be able to see their air quality data in real time. They wanted to be able to see the past data. They wanted to be able to know more about air quality, and they wanted to be able to take action to improve it. And so that's how we designed the SAMI web app. Schools gave us feedback about the SAMI web app as it progressed, and we're really proud that together we've created a space where people can understand about their air quality in their classrooms and take action to improve it. Co-design is not just enjoyable for me, it's absolutely essential for making sure that our research is relevant to people's lives. And I love working with people, and I love hearing from people about how we can do research that really matters to them. In the Youth Lives project, this was really important because we wanted to understand what young people wanted from mental health research. So we had a series of online workshops with young people and with experienced researchers where we understood what was it that they were interested in about mental health research. And then we worked together to co-design proposals that would actually address those concerns. And now those are out there in the world for researchers to use in whatever way they choose. Co-design is amazing because it's incredibly practical. It's a rewarding process because both parties benefit, because you're ultimately creating something that everybody wants to use. When it's done right, co-design also makes research more inclusive. And that means we're bringing more voices into research. More participation equals more data equals better knowledge. And ultimately, that's what research is all about.
Hi, so I'm Sam Bland. I'm a research software engineer in SEI, and I work with the Inclusive Citizen Science group. A research software engineer, or RSE, is someone that provides support and expertise to researchers on anything that involves writing code. This can be anything from creating computational models that run on high-performance computers, all the way through to developing web applications. My work developing digital tools for the Inclusive Citizen Science group has extended the people aspect of my role to include the participants in those projects. Building bespoke digital tools for these projects requires balancing both the researcher and the participant needs. In the SAMI project, we planned to build a web application, and we had loads of users to think about. There was the teachers and the pupils and the scientists. While building and designing the web application, we had to really think about promoting user engagement. More engagement meant more data for the research. However, we also needed to make sure that we were providing a tool that both benefited and was valued by SAMI participants. To achieve this, the resulting web application included learning opportunities through engaging educational activities. So the quality of digital tools can really make or break a citizen science project. Make something that doesn't work for the users and you lose their engagement. Make something that doesn't work for the researchers and you might just end up with the wrong data. Achieving this quality rests on the development of the software itself. Increasingly, we are refining the best practices that we apply when creating these types of digital tools. So quality control techniques include automated testing, adaptive and modular code, and also clear and concise documentation. Digital tools take the incredible value of citizen science and make it possible to scale to regional, national, and even global levels of engagement and impact. By building inclusive and accessible digital tools to allow people to engage with research data, in turn, we build inclusive and accessible citizen science research.
Hi everyone, I'm Smriti Safaya and I'm a member of the Inclusive Citizen Science team at SEI York. My interest with getting hands-on with nature started from when I realized how impactful experiential education is. Learning is just much stickier when you're where the action is happening. I felt this when I was studying geology and doing earthquake research in Tibet, when I was taking my students out on field trips in Hong Kong and around the world, and also when I'm taking the public on multisensory nature walks. When we're out and about in nature, but even in the urban environments, it's just so much more impactful when you're out in the field. Hands-on experiences in nature can impact values, attitudes, and behaviors towards the natural environment. Being out in nature where you're paying attention to the plants and animals around you really means that you can build your connection to the natural environment, and that really enforces how we then feel and act towards nature. Something I've been working on especially is with students and teachers in schools. And by doing environmental citizen science, it has an impact on not just their knowledge about environmental issues, but also on their pro-environmental behaviors, which is really important because it goes beyond just what the school assignment is about, but more about affecting change in one society. One initiative I get excited about every year is the York City Nature Challenge, which is a 4-day BioBlitz where you record the wildlife that you see around you. And I got really excited because I noticed that York was not one of the participating cities, and I'd done it for a few years in Hong Kong and thought, this place is so beautiful, how is it not happening? So I co-founded it with a few other researchers who thought this would be a great activity for York. Since we started this in 2024, York has been punching above its weight and has been #1 out of all the UK cities for the total number of different species we see in that 4-day period. And when we talk to the people who've participated, they always say just how exciting it is to be doing something just to improve one's knowledge, but also about potentially helping with nature conservation. We've had all sorts of people take part, from families with young children taking a look at the birds in their backyard, to lichen-obsessed people who were happy to help ID a whole bunch of plants that people saw. So it's really a whole community-wide type of activity. When we give people the opportunity to not just be in nature, but to know nature and contribute to scientific research, it forges connections. It forges connections between the scientists and the citizens, between people and nature, and that shapes how we decide to take action for the planet and all life.
I'm Luke Gooding, and I'm a member of the Inclusive Citizen Science group at SEI York. At the moment, I'm working on a community energy citizen science project, which looks at how communities come together to manage how they supply, distribute, and use energy in their local area. And a massive part of this for us has been co-creation. Instead of researchers deciding what the questions should be, the challenges, the approaches, and the methods, we want communities to be part of that process with us, really shaping everything from the start to the finish. Co-creation doesn't have to be difficult, it doesn't have to be fancy. You can start with really simple things: pens, post-its, and obviously people. Co-creation involves mapping out priorities for people, the solutions to challenges, and also pathways in which we can achieve success. You can also use digital tools to help facilitate co-creation, and we've had great success with people getting really involved and wanting to come back for more time and again. We found that co-creation is a great way to ask good questions about questions, come up with new research ideas, and also find out what really matters to communities. Working with people in this way is a joy, because you get to come up with practical responses to real problems. For example, in our community energy project, we've been working with community energy practitioners to create practical guidance on energy system design and how they can innovate with new ways of creating, distributing, and using energy. Co-creation, when it's done well, is inclusive and empowering. It creates an option for people's lived and professional experiences to shape research so it's practically helpful in the real world.